Happy birthday, Army.
Happy birthday, Army.
Happy birthday, Army.
Happy birthday to America's oldest and, in my estimation, most important institution.
Obviously, anybody who enlists in the military is making a life-changing decision and a life-changing contribution.
I think one of the biggest things that, when people don't have much exposure to the Army, they think, oh, well, everyone looks so uniform. You're wearing the same things, you're doing the same things. But in a lot of ways, that brings out the biggest personalities.
A very great general once said, the most outstanding institution in every nation is the Army, because it alone makes possible the existence of all other institutions.
Well, my unit, the 175th Infantry, traces its lineage all the way back to the Revolutionary War, and it fought in the Battle of Long Island. There's a good argument to be made that the Maryland unit saved the Revolution at that day.
So I found with the Army that loved the idea of a large, diverse organization that spans so many different capabilities, so many different mission sets.
So at some point during a deployment, I got engaged in a conversation with a British paratrooper, and we were talking about military history and the history of our units, and the topic turned to our shoulder patch. What was the meaning of the shoulder patch? So I had the distinct pleasure of telling this British paratrooper about how our unit had fought the British and held them off, and he was a little miffed and kind of just walked away.
You remember all these stories about people's outsized personalities, all of the stories that come from all over America to make up our Army, and just being part of that all-volunteer force was just an incredible honor. I got to serve in tremendously good units. I got to serve in the 3rd ID in Germany when the wall was coming down in 1989.
I really enjoyed that brief period of war in 1991 because you see the best in people, believe it or not. Everyone always tries to emphasize that war brings out the worst. I didn't see very much of that. What I really saw were American soldiers who were remarkably brave, very courageous, but still very human in the sense that they could refrain from harming the enemy when it was necessary to do so.
I think probably one of the most memorable stories that I have. I was approached by the Navy SEAL detachment that I work with during the deployment. We shared a lot of intel. I helped them out. They helped us out, and they said, "Hey, just so you know, there was we got some intel on a group that killed one of your soldiers." And they said, we know where he is right now. We can execute this, but do you want the mission? And I said, hell yeah, I want the mission. Look, this is the guy that killed our guy. We took the whole compound down, made a bunch of arrests, and it's a bad memory in a sense, but it's also one of my great memories because we were able to execute a really complex mission in a short period of time. And it was guys that were getting ready to go home. And they all knew that, look, I really don't want to roll the dice one more time. But for their own sense of honor, for my sense of honor, for everybody's sense of honor, we had to go do it. And that was one of my proudest days in the Army. Camaraderie, honor and respect.
Look, favorite part about the Army is the shared sense of purpose with the best people in the world, to look to the man to the left of you, the woman to the right of you, and understand that you would give your life for them and they would give their lives for you. Nothing beats that. Now, this notion of a shared Army culture, though, isn't as true as some people think. My guys couldn't agree on anything. Country music, hip-hop music, red Gatorade, blue Gatorade, but we all shared a collective love for the Pitch Perfect soundtrack. We listened to it every day when we were going out on missions. Go Army.
I mean, there's really nothing like it when you all suffer together. You really build sort of relationships that are hard to replace, which I guess is also the flip side of the worst part, which is suffering together. Lots of suffering is done, beginning in basic training, going all the way through training into combat.
My least favorite part, getting up early in the morning. That was terrible. I hated every minute. I'm a night person.
Least favorite part about the Army? Oh, I know. I know. The thing that pissed me off about the Army is that once you start to love an MRE, they take it out of distribution.
There are many moments where things are less than optimal, especially if you're an infantryman, I would say.
Love the cheese tortellini MRE? They canceled it. Love the Cinnabon in the breakfast MRE? They took it out.
I looked terrible in the morning. The soldiers used to refer to me as Sid Vicious in the morning because I looked so rough.
Whoever's making MRE decisions in the DOD, I'm going to do a congressional inquiry because they're failing us.
So I went through 33 years of self-inflicted misery in the military.
There's lots of suffering, but again, I mean, there's a sense in which I think that suffering builds camaraderie that nothing else really can.
Just seeing why people wanted to serve and then having the chance to be there and go through all kinds of good training with them was an experience of a lifetime.
America loves you. We wouldn't be the greatest country in the world without you. God bless you. God bless the Army. God bless the United States of America.
Those of you who are serving in the regular Army should never forget that. You are the final argument inside this country and overseas for the President and the American people. Happy birthday.